Last video I discussed the birth point of science being an unexpected observation. When an observation leads a person to think, that's weird, science begins because the search for the answer as to why the observation was unexpected becomes the hypothesis, which becomes the experiment, which gathers the data, which can be analyzed to form the conclusion, which becomes science. Let's talk a little bit about the difference between observing something and making inferences from what has been observed. My first example in my last video was the cell phone that unexpectedly failed to light up or turn on. That's the observation. An observation is the exact same for anyone anywhere in the world when exposed to the same experience. If I were in America and I was live streaming through a GoPro and I pulled out my cell phone and touched the screen, I and everyone watching would observe that the screen did not light up. That experience and tidbit of information would be the same for everyone, and that is the key to observations. Observations are bits of information that are taken into your brain through your five senses. Observations are things that people can see, smell, hear, touch, or taste. However, I want to put in a little quick side note here. In science, taste is not used that often. Imagine if Dr. Ellie Sattler in the original Jurassic Park movie had tasted the pile of Triceratops poop. Ew! No. Just bear in mind that taste is the least used sense for making observations in science.
That is one big pile of shit.
She did use her other senses. She did use sight, she did use touch, but not taste. Therefore, if information doesn't come into your brain through your five senses, then it's not an observation. You have to be able to see it, touch it, smell it, hear it, or taste it for it to be an observation. Everybody across the world watching the hypothetical live stream observed that the cell phone screen failed to light up or illuminate when it was touched, and that absolutely is an observation. The next thing that happens is that I and the viewers try to make sense of this observation that did not make sense. After all, everybody expected the cell phone to light up. Across the world, people are making inferences. An inference is something that your brain comes up with based on information that your senses have observed. Therefore, if it's something that you have to think about, you have made an inference. Your inference for the cell phone failure may be that it needs to be plugged in, but somebody else's inference for the cell phone failure may be that it has a screen protector on it that keeps the image from being shown online. Or maybe somebody else is going to infer that it's being faked because I'm trying to make a point in my video. Somebody else in the world might infer that I'm staging it so that I can get more likes and more subs and followers and comments and other forms of video engagement. All of these are valid inferences because all of these are logical explanations that could be formulated from the observation of the cell phone's non-illumination. That is the dividing line between observation and inference. Everybody across the world makes the same exact observation when given the same exact circumstances. The cell phone did not wake up. But the inferences across the world would be different and based on the personal knowledge, experiences, personalities, and level of skepticism of each of the individuals who observed the cell phone screen staying dark. If you can see it, hear it, touch it, smell it, or taste it, then it is an observation. If you come up with an idea based on that, then it's an inference. Here's a more concrete example. Observations based on this image would include a dark line near the middle of the image, a dark shape at the bottom of the image, and a cloud. Inferences based on this image would include that the dark line is a power line, or a crack in the screen, or a crack on the lens, or a hair. Inferences based on this image could also include that the dark object at the bottom is a bridge, or a car, or a windowsill, or a hill. Notice how there is no variance in the observations. There are no other possibilities. It's a cloud, a dark line, and a dark shape, period. But the explanation for the dark line and the dark shape are inferences, and the four that I have given for each are by far not the only four that are out there. You can probably think of 3 or 4 more that would explain why you see a dark line and why you see a dark shape in that image. One final thought. Every creature on the planet with any form of sensory organs can make observations. All of them, if they have sensory organs, have the capability through their sensory organs to observe their surroundings. But without an intellectual brain, those creatures are not able to make inferences. But, and this is a big but, we are not going to go into what determines and defines intelligence because that is a topic that is still being debated amongst the scientists.